let's hear about the Egman restriction discussion. I mean, we already know the context already, right? Because like Haloku and Boo are dominating every tournament so far in FB04 and FB05. And so, of course, we need to eat blue and yellow stuff. And if you only eat blue and yellow stuff, then Android becomes a problem. That's why he's talking about Android 17 and 18 as well. I mean, that's my guess. So we know the context, of course. Let's see.
Restriction list point, and I want to go over them. Do not think that this is what I think the restriction list is going to be. Just let me talk through it real quick. So, Pilaf, I think this one should get hit. Of all the cards, I think this should be hit. Even if blue is not relevant in this next set, I think this is just a card that is just too overtuned. It is just very easy to get this out of the game, and then it just makes it open for just different things to go in blue. I think any blue deck just automatically places at 4 copies. And I think like the other thing I do hear, like occasionally people say, oh, if Pilaf goes away, then blue's not a viable deck. I don't think that like that phrase just hurts me, right? The fact that the entire color is blue is only relevant because this card exists is not healthy in a different way, right? It might mean
okay, but that's a problem of blue decks playing on 7 or less. So the problem is Pilaf is needed in those kind of decks because it's the only way you can have free resources while staying with low cards in hand, you know? Except from Videl, but Videl is basically the same thing. Pilaf is just better. The thing is, if the best archetype is always having 7 or less in hand, and like till now, every good blue card and every blue concept is around playing 7 or less. That's why Pilaf is such a core card in the game. To remove Pilaf, you need to incentivize a blue playstyle that doesn't play around the 7 or less in hand. And they're trying to do that this set, I think. Because like new Daima Vegeta, usually in the mid to late game, plays with like 10 plus in hand and is completely fine. Because they remove the hand restriction from the pre-release Vegeta and the rare 5-drop Vegeta. So that's a good step in that direction. But till now, every relevant deck has been like that. Like, take for example Haloku. It works with 7 or less. Videl, Gohan, like every blue card, like GS, GS2, stuff like that, right? And also like, of course, from set 1 to set 4, that's also the case. Blue was designed with the 7 or less restriction in hand. That's why Pilaf is such a core card and such a strong card. And then every support has been printed with that in mind as well. If you think about what was in set 5, like set 5 blue decks, Vegito, because Vegito enhances Pilaf playstyle even more, because filling your grave with like Pilafs itself, or like recoverable Pilaf stuff, is such a big buff to Pilaf. So every new concept is just buffing Pilaf over and over again. That's why even a deck like Vegito that can technically be played, but I don't know if it's viable, it can technically be played with more than 7 in hand, still revolve around Pilaf. Because it's one of the best deck to Pilaf. Like, imagine you flip, you mill 10 cards, and you mill like 3 Pilafs. And now you have all 4 Pilafs in grave. Maybe you milled a Final Loop as well. Maybe you milled the 0 cost spell. And you can start playing Pilaf over and over again. And that's such a strong play. Such as Vegito is one of the best Pilaf deck of the game. If you take out Pilaf, all the blue decks get a really hard hit. So I think we still need time. Maybe starting from the new set, we can try to stray away from the 7 or less in hand concept. And once we do that, we can target Pilaf. Because even in those decks, Pilaf is so relevant. You have such a stable early game, you know? Like even in decks that plays 10 plus, take for example Vegeta Mini, you still need Pilaf. Maybe you can't play it when you're at 10 or more, but to reach that state, you need the Pilaf early game. You need to play Cantrip, Pilaf, recover the Cantrip, play it again. The new Dinosaur, you can take that back with Pilaf. You can play multiple Pilaf, and you can like breeze through the early game like it's nothing. If you eat that, you're gonna eat the early game consistency of blue decks. And I think it's fine. Yeah, so maybe starting from this set, you can eat Pilaf. But the thing is, like, we're eating Pilaf when it's not needed anymore. We can't eat Pilaf when it's a core card of every blue deck. So maybe starting from this set, we can eat Pilaf. till this set, there's no way we could ban the Pilaf. Like, banning Pilaf would just made Haloku deck even stronger compared to other blue decks. Because Haloku is a deck that needs Pilaf the least out of every blue deck. As of now. Maybe like Kid Ku and New Vegeta Daima can be played without Pilaf. I can see them be played without Pilaf. It's not that bad getting Pilaf banned. I think I can still play those decks. Because I don't need to be at 7 or less. I can play other cards for the early game. Maybe more defensive spells, and I can get away with like more Gallic, more like Proud Saiyan, and I'm fine anyways, I think.
That blue might not be relevant for meta if we restrict this, and then we'll have to change something going into the next set from it. But I think this card is just bad for the game in general. I'll just be straight up about it. I'm not that heavy-handed normally, but I think this card just needs to go. And when you see, like when I was watching the World's Mirror match, right, it was just people playing Pilaf over and over. When I play on the online client, especially with the additional time it takes between actions, it's insufferable. When I play against Haloku, it's like, this is going to be 40 minutes. I'm going to feel like I'm behind the entire time, and then I'm going to lose, but I have to play it out anyways because it's lame otherwise. So it's just unfortunate. I just think the card needs to go. For yellow, I really don't want to hit Bobbity. I really think that this is a bit of like the reason that the deck exists. I know, like I just said, like Pilaf shouldn't exist, right? Because it's the best color in blue. But this is like one of the best cards in a specific archetype, right? So I understand that if we remove this card from the archetype, it just destroys.
You can't limit Pilaf to 2. It's either 1 or banned. There's no limit to 3, there's no limit to 2, only 1 or banned.
Destroys what the archetype wants to do because this facilitates it a lot. You could do it, and I do know a lot of people want this card banned because of how it works, and I totally understand that, right? I think that's something, if they hit it, I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be currently what I would be asking for, but I do think that there are times that this card is broken. I do think that is also... Most people who lose with Majin Buu, they're in the case where they only saw 1 or 2 Bobbity when they should have seen 3 or 4.
Yep.
Which is generally how I lose when I play the deck. So maybe that is a factor for it. Maybe this card could get hit, and that would be something where Majin Buu would just be not around because of it. But I do think that this card is a little bit central to how the main deck works. So that is a bit impactful. I do think, like, if we were not trying to hit Bobbity, maybe Majin Buu Kid would be a better, like, even if we hit this card down to 1, I think the combo of 5-drop Kid into Bobbity into Majin Buu Kid is just too much pressure, if I'm being honest, right? You get 2 30k attacks.
I don't think you can eat 30k Buu. I'd rather eat the Babidi than the 30k Buu. Because like, if you eat the 30k Buu, I don't even know if I'd play Buu Leader anymore. Because you don't have the pressure to kill the opponent, right? But if you ban Babidi, that's a better solution, I think. Yeah, you can limit Babidi to 1 or ban it. But I don't think you can limit the 30k. Because like, this is not blue. You can't recover stuff and play them again, over and over again. So like, limited in blue color is odd, because most of the time you have a way to get back your cards. I don't think you can eat the 30k Buu. I'd rather eat Babidi. The combo with Buan is way too good. Plus 3 cards with Buan, draw this card too. I mean, you're giving away a Babidi, so it's technically a card for a card, right? But the thing is giving you a free target for your leader effect, so you don't have to... The strong thing about Babidi is you can pop it without popping your 3-drop and activating your leader effect. That's the strongest part, I think. It's a free drop that you can pop to activate leader effect. Aside from the -1. I mean, that's strong for sure. But even if it didn't have the -1, it would be played, I think.
And then if your opponent goes to 2 at any point of it, you just shotgun with your 35k double strike, right? So that just feels like it's too much pressure. I think that's just like one of the best ways to end this game right now. There's not honestly a lot of counterplay for it because you will...
You cannot eat Buan, guys. If you ban Buan, the deck is completely unplayable. I don't think I'd play Buu without Buan. I'd rather pivot to Nemba at that point.
Naturally be at a low hand size because of how much hand destruction is going on too. And I feel like with Majin Buu Kid, it just has such good finishing power with everything else that it's generally it's probably too strong, if I'm being honest with it. So this would probably be the card. Maybe we even hit this down to 1, but I feel like this is a bit
Nah,
overtuned for what we're
I don't think
doing.
so.
And if we don't want to hit Bobbity, which again I think could happen, and I think it's something that could be like warp how yellow works, then maybe Majin Buu Kid. I'm not saying that this has to be, but I'm honestly I'm just like yellow, like this whole deck, right? We're playing just a bunch of cantrips, right? We're playing a bunch of generic cards, and then we're eventually just getting to the Majin Buu Kid double combo with Bobbity, right? So if this card I don't think should be banned because it is like the kind of super rare for the deck. If this card shouldn't be hit because it's kind of like how the engine of the deck works, and maybe just one card that overtunes the engine a little bit is the one to hit with it. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. And then lastly, I didn't really talk about green, but I do want to
Yeah,
mention.
I think I'd eat Babidi. That's what I'd eat. I don't think you can ban the 30k. Then I'm not playing Boo anymore, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm just playing Nemba with Boo and at that point. I'm not playing Boo. Problem with Boo is that insane kill pressure and control. So you're like at 5 in hand and you're worried about dying to an all-in. That's the tough part. Like if you remove the 30k, and then you're not scared of an all-in, I think the deck is not working anymore. Like I'm not scared of facing Boo anymore if it doesn't have kill potential. Like the only scary thing is being on a low end size, worried about getting killed on one turn, even from 5 to 0, because he can do stuff like that.
In this card
Santiago
real quick. I do think this has probably been, along with Pilaf, the most requested card to get hit in this card game, right? I think that in green specifically, when it comes to ramp decks, you always go to the deck that ramps the fastest, right? And Android 1718 just lets you do it with really no cost and only benefits for this card, right? The fact that it's a 10k, the fact that this card is very searchable, the fact that you technically only play this card for 1 energy as long as you have the energy to play it for the first place, the fact that you can double ramp on 5 energy and then still have 3 energy open to do things, and then you go to Broly 8 drop next turn is really good. I know a lot of people are talking about the new 9 cost Broly that we get from FBO 6, and the fact that Android 17 and 18 can just ramp to this very easily, and then they have like this double striker that's, you know, it's the best of both worlds, right? We have like Cell 8 drop that a lot of people use, and they have Broly 8 drop that a lot of people use for 1 more energy, which is very non-consequential for Android 1718. You get to do a board wipe, you get an unconditional heal, and then a 55k double strike after a 30k leader attack, right? So I think that this is a case where I think the ramping from green is a little bit too much. We've had other ramp decks try to exist in this game, and they just...
Yeah, I mean, we already know about that. Like, if Twins 4 drop stays in the game, you can't ever play another ramp deck except from Androids. It completely kills the playability of every other green deck that is trying to compete with the ramping. But you can play other green decks are playable. Like since 3 sets in a row, I think they tried other playstyle, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think like Vegeta was a bit too weak, while Nameku was fine. I think Nameku is not a bad deck. I think it's a really strong deck. And then we have Broly, that it's not competing with the ramp, it's competing with like big bodies, but that's fine. So, but if you want to open up the playstyle of ramping, you have to ban the Twin 1718. Yep.
Don't, because again, 17 and 18 just do it way better. And so then there's no incentive to play any other ramp deck a lot of the time. So that's why I think like a lot of the green leaders that have existed since from like what I think set 4 are mostly about energy manipulation, but none of them are ramp, because it's just understood that so we had like, you know, Son Goku, right?
Yeah,
this
that's
one
what
is
I
like
said.
a 7 or less. This one also just energy less, right? Piccolo kinda like is supposed to ramp, but it doesn't really have the great cards to facilitate it. Cell's also about ramp, but it's very clunky compared to how it works for Android 17. And this card technically is ramp too, right? And it has it built in with the leader, but we just kind of shifted away from like a 3 life leader on Awaken being relevant. So, and that's also the same thing with Broly, right? Broly cheats higher cost cards out, but also restricts it to only being at 4 energy at any time. So I do like the diversity in what we're doing, but I also think that 1718 restricts the design space a little bit. I don't know if they're going to hit this card. Obviously 1718 has only been doing so well in this previous format. I don't think it's, I think the deck is just not going to be the worst deck around, right? You'll see it just continually tops in pretty much every event in the last couple events in this format, right? I did run some like my own events too, where it did some strengths, right? It did really well, and like it did well like week 1 because it was like the newest deck, right? But As you see, it's like the green deck that's just been relevant since set 2 for almost a year now, and mostly because this card exists and lets you just kind of bend the rules of the game in my own experience. So I wouldn't be too surprised if that happens, but generally speaking, I think Pilaf needs to be hit unconditionally. I think it's been proven to me in my experience that this card's just too good in its current state. Something from Majin Buu, I think Babidi if we want to make sure the deck doesn't exist, Majin Buu Kid if we want the deck to maybe exist.
Nah, I think the other way around, but we already talked about it.
In that case. And then Android 1718. If we find that we want to get rid of this, if they ever want to make another ramp deck, they have to, one, either power creep this card, which seems terrifying, or two, just make this card not exist anymore, or give it like a more fair.
Yeah, we just get rid of the Android 1718. Like at this point, if next set we're gonna have a ramp green deck, we just get rid of this. I want to power creep this 1718. Like, how can you even power creep this? One drop, 20k, 10k combo. Ramp 1. That's insane.
Our version in a future set to where like there is some actual cost to run it in your deck compared to you get a free 20k, you get a one energy 20k swing, you get to ramp a card, and worst case it's a 10k combo that is also incredibly searchable in its archetype. So yep. That's kind of my thoughts. This is a little bit rambly, a little bit off the cuff, but I did want to talk about it. We are approaching FBO 6 in the next couple weeks, and I want to make this video before it was sitting on my desk for too long and FBO 6 already came out. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm too...
Okay, so like, this is fine, but I still think that you have to eat Haloku. Like, in some way, you still have to eat Haloku. Pilaf Ban is not enough. Haloku is still too strong. If you only eat Pilaf, Haloku dominates the metagame. 100%, guys. It's not even close. Like, if you only eat Pilaf, Haloku keeps the spot of the best deck in the game. So you need somehow to eat it. It depends if you want to kill Haloku, or you don't want to kill it and you just want to nerf it. But it's really fucking hard to nerf a blue deck, because every card in the deck is recoverable, you know? Imagine like limiting, I don't know, one Cosvidel to 1. As soon as you find the first copy, it's like running 4 because you only need 1. Like limiting shorter to 1, like if you find the only copy, you can just cycle that with your stuff, with your Videls. You can play like 2 Cosvidel, swing, take it back, play it again. So, yep. And you can also loop your Videl with Final Loop Slash. So limiting stuff in blue doesn't work. You can only eat the consistency of the deck. That's a good solution? Yeah, maybe. Because like, eye roll condition is like drawing your limited cards in your first hand and then you're at full power. So it's not nerfed at all if you only limit. If you ban stuff, it might be the best solution. I don't think you can limit stuff. You have to ban. Like, what can you even eat? If you ban the shorter spell, the deck is completely killed. So you can't do that. If you ban this shorter, I don't think you can play Haloku anymore because you don't have the resources to keep going, you know? While if you ban one Cosvidel, you're basically taking Haloku back to FBO3 state where it was playable but not OP. So it might even disappear from the metagame. I'm not sure about it. Assuming they also eat Pilaf. Because one Cosvidel is just insane. It's a one drop, it's a 10k, it cheats out your 2 Cosvidel, it counts as a body on board for your effects. Like, it's so good. You can bounce it back to hand without even playing another one. So it's like a temporary body on board that you can take it back if you don't want to leave it there. So like, I don't know what they can ban. Because everything else, what can you even eat? 4 Gohan? Sure, but it's a blue staple. You can't eat 4 Gohan because it's used in like every deck, and it's not that strong in other decks, and it's not even that strong in Haloku. I think you can play without Gohan, actually. You can just bottom deck with your GS spell. The field? Yeah, maybe like eating field is a big nerf to Haloku. Because field is like, there's no much field destruction in the game, efficient field destruction, and so field always stays there, right? And counts towards Haloku effects that require certain number of Satan City on board. So if you ban field, then you're also getting rid of the bullshit part of flipped Haloku, giving plus 10k by tapping one piece on board. So I think like field ban would be a good ban. Yeah, if I really think about it, I think field could be they could eat the field. Like limit Pilaf, ban field, or ban Pilaf, ban field. Is that enough? Maybe. I don't know. I need to try it without the field, but it's definitely super strong. Anyways, you have to eat both Boo, Haloku, and Android to a certain extent. So I agree with like eating Pilaf, I agree with eating Babidi, and I agree with and I want like at least something to nerf Haloku, because that leader is just too strong. And the thing is, you can't even ban the leader, because if you ban the Haloku leader, you're just gonna run the Satan City package with another leader, so it doesn't solve anything. Like straight up banning Haloku, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna play a random blue leader with the Haloku package. It's been proven to be good. Like there was a Satan City Trunks that won finals last set in set 5, so it's definitely playable with another leader. You can't ban the leader. I don't know, like I really hope they're gonna make a ban list. If not, next metagame, Boo and Haloku will still dominate the events, like 100%. I don't know, like let me know what you think in the comments below, guys, and remember to like, subscribe, and see you next time.